Grand Rising. Good day. And good night. I hope you all are doing well. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to 144 from the stars. Terrell. Let's go ahead and give Odin a treat for his excellency. I noticed Odin was especially calm and relaxed at the beginning of this intro. And right before I hit record, I saw the number 404. All right. The totem for this message is going to be a fairy dragon. All right. I do have some word that I am going to share with you all. This is what I was led to. So this is what we're going to read. It is from the book of 2 Samuel. I'm going to be reading from chapter 22. I just now realized 222 is the numbers in the scripture that I was led to today. Anyways, I'm going to start at, once again, verse 2. Funny, as I see this as we go. Anyways, and then I'm going to read till, I believe, verse 23, till verse 23. 223, 2222. Lots of numbers, and I'm looking at this 20, 21, 22. There's a lot of twos. I keep seeing twos. 20, 21, 22, 23. I just keep seeing 20s and twos. So anyways, all right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for being here. Yahuwah is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, the Elohai of my rock. In him will I trust. He is my shield and the horn of my salvation, my high tower and my refuge, my savior. You save me from violence. I will call on Yahuwah, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. When the waves of death compassed me, the floods of wicked men made me afraid. The sorrows of Sheol compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress, I called upon Yahuwah and cried to my Elohim, and he did hear my voice out of his temple, and my cry did enter into his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations of heaven moved and shook because he was angry. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a keruv and did fly. And he was seen upon the wings of the wind. And he made darkness pavilions round about him, dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Through the brightness before him were coals of fire kindled. Yahuwah thundered from heaven, and El Elyon uttered his voice. And he sent out arrows and scattered them, lightning and discomfited them. And the channels of the sea appeared, and the foundations of the world were discovered at the rebuking of Yahuwah, at the blast of the breath of his nostrils. He sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy and from them that hated me, for they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but Yahuwah was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. Yahuwah rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands has he recompensed me. For I have guarded the ways of Yahuwah and have not wickedly departed from my Elohim. For all his judgments were before me, and as for his statutes, I did not depart from them. All right. Again, I would like to thank each and every single one of you so much just for being here. Thank you so much. I also just, as a content creator, as an individual trying to be of service to others, and as a human being and as just a young man, I have many faults and I am ignorant of many things. And though my intentions are pure, I ask that if my ignorance has ever offended or misled or misguided anyone, I ask for your forgiveness, and I praise Yahuwah because the blood of the Lamb has washed over any harm so that it would come to none. I thank you. All right, let's move forward. I'm going to go ahead and let's pull right into Tarot. Let's see what Spirit would like you to know. So, right off the bat, just kind of noticing the energy, I feel like someone answers are being heard. I feel like someone has been in a lot of emotional turmoil and pain, but this is more than that. This is soul unrest. This is deep. This is like as deep as the soul is. And this unrest, this turmoil, this pain, this lament even, and this, I don't know, there's so much that comes with it. It's a sea of choppy, murky, complicated waters. And the solution would be really simple, but yet what's simple isn't always what's obtainable right then and there in that moment. Or maybe it is. Either way, I just feel like a season is coming to an end. A season is coming to pass. And what I feel is a unanimous cry to the heavens. This feels like a collective cry to the heavens. And I feel, all right, because this energy is familiar, and it's a energy I think a lot of people can relate to. If you have ever loved someone, if you have ever been a parent or have a child, perhaps, imagine someone you love going through pain and agony due to injustice, due to corruption, due to wickedness, due to greed. That's what I feel. I feel from like the Divine Mother, this loving comfort, like this just, I want to surround you with love and nurture you and bring you closer to me and like comfort you, let you know everything's going to be okay. That's the energy I feel from the Divine Mother. But there's a loving protection from the Father energy in the divine. And it's wanting to safely guard his children, bring them closer, tighten the grip, draw them closer. Something like, for example, if you were taking your kids for a stroll in a park and someone was walking by and they seemed like they would be a threat, you might tell your kids to, hey, get closer to me or grab my hand. I want no harm to come to anyone that I love. And that's what I feel from the Father. It's a very strong, but there's a gentle side to it that I appreciate, especially with what's coming next, because there is wrath. There is an anger. There is an anger for the harm, for the pain that has been unjustly caused upon. But there is also gratitude, and there is like reward as well. So, I don't know, 404, 222. The scripture we started off with, 10 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Let's go ahead. Let's get started. 7 of Wands. There's a level of protection, but there's judgment. There's judgment to enforce this protection because there's been 7 of Swords. And I feel like that's the wrong that is being righted and reclaimed. And I'm being reminded of something I said in a recent reading where I said injustice, I said something along the lines of injustices being corrected is the new foundation we stand on. And I'm feeling the fire and the arrows coming down from heaven, decompensing them with their 7 of Swords as having energy. Okay, so there's something about this. So I do feel this, like you're being comforted, you're being shielded, you're being protected, you're being rewarded. There's like, again, like just imagine all the emotions, the divine, because like emotions are the language of our soul, and our soul is a spark of God. So I mean, there's a lot of love. 2 of Cups, another 2. Let's move forward. All right, what would you like them to know? Ace of Pentacles. This is a gift from God. This is. This is love. This is nurture. This is renewal. And this is return of energy. And this is protection. I feel a blessing, a big blessing, a really big blessing. Like words wouldn't describe this. It covers a large, it has a large surface area, I guess would be a way for me to describe it. It's very big. Okay. Yeah. We have the Hermit. The Hermit and the Ten of Wands. And like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. God heard your cries. God was with you. This Hermit with the Ten of Wands, that's burdened. That's stressed. That's a lot. That's having to transmute a lot. That's having to deal with a lot. That's having to overcome a lot. That's fighting like hell. Like it's an uphill battle. And there's unfair odds against you. And I just like all of a sudden almost like clenched my jaw when I said that, like almost like clenched my teeth, gritted my teeth. Like, I don't know. Like I don't know. There's reward on it. We have this Four of Swords, and that's a combination of the Divine Mother and Divine Father coming through to reward, to balance, to correct, to even resurrect your spirits if need be. Like there's something about an upliftment and a freeing and a protection and a close guarding, like a bringing you closer to. That part is very, very significant, and you may already be feeling this. Some of you may have been feeling very close to a divine presence. I feel a lot of love in this reading. What else would you like the collective to know? We have this Empress. I'm really drawn to the crown on this Empress's head. I've never it's like I can feel it on it was so much pressure. It was like the only thing that mattered in this card almost, besides the fact that we are talking about an Empress here. All right. Was this crown. Now she was sideways. She came out sideways, but she came out sideways on the Four of Swords. And it's like, that's what we need to put to rest. Wow. It's like a resurrection of the flame taking the throne. I don't know how to put this in words. It's poetic. It's justice. And it's love. It's truth. And it's authentic. And it's embodied. That's part of this judgment. It's like a flare. That's what it is. You are, it's like, okay. So it's like an unveiling. Sorry. Yeah, an unveiling. So we're like unzipping the veil off of this Empress. This Empress has been like suppressed or stifled or chained or has been like, I don't know if chain's the right word, because don't get me wrong, this Empress is fucking moving. So like, don't give me, like, don't put any kind of disrespect on the ability of this Empress. What I mean by chained is like an uphill battle, you know? Like you're literally able to maintain on the same level of the highest or the best, but you're at a complete handicap disadvantage because all odds are pitted against you. That's what we're fixing. So that way your true power can be unveiled. It's kind of like someone that, like those of you that have seen Naruto, the scene where Rock Lee takes his weights off. It's like that in a way. There's like a limiter, a resistance that's coming off of you. That's part of this judgment. And it's to glorify God is another, it's part of the will of God. And that's one thing that I hope a lot of people understand is there's really only one will, ultimately. No matter what you believe in, it's the divine's will, whatever you want to call the divine or refer to it as. So this divine will unfold, will be revealed. And the unveiling of your flame, of your glory, of your crown, of your divinity is the fulfillment of that will. Because it's like a flare. It's a signal. It's going to shoot off when you're unveiled. When we pull the veil off this bride or off this Empress or off this Emperor, off this chosen one, this divine energy, because they've been crowned the whole time. It just hasn't been apparent. It was under the veil. It's going to shoot off like a firework. It's going to be a marvel to the heavens because like a flare is a light that shoots off into the sky. And it's a signal. It's an SOS. Oftentimes, it's a signal. It's a signal to others. This is a mark of divinity. This is a mark of rain. This is a return of energies as well. And this is a reclaiming of like a lot of birthright, heritage. And it's a stripping away of something that has, like, I don't know, like tar and feather you while you're trying to finish this marathon or something. I don't know. That's the judgment. We're cleaning it. We're cleaning it. It's renewal. It's renewal. We're cleaning it. Seven of Swords. This Ace of Pentacles landed on top of the Seven of Swords. I just want to point that out. So if there's been any kind of injustice or displacement of finances, energy, money, property, happiness, health, time, that's what this divine favor, this return, this judgment, this outpour, it's coming right back to you. All right. What else would you like the collective to know? Page of Swords. All right, what about this Page of Swords? Emperor. Okay. Okay. Something I want to point out about the way this energy came out. First, we had the Page of Swords. Page of Swords can oftentimes be talking about and observing, a learning, a watching, a conscious mind that can expand from the observation that it gains. Okay, so there's something along those lines. Something's going to observe, learn, or watch something and gain some kind of knowledge or experience or awareness from it. We had this Emperor come out, and this Emperor wanted to come out with this Knight of Wands. Now, this Emperor wanted to come out upright, and it had a lot of charm to it. It felt upright. It on the outside of the energy, it felt upright. What was interesting, though, was by my right hand, it came out correct, sideways. Even though by charm, by aura, by glamour, it really wanted to present itself as something. So what I feel like is about to happen, because then right after that happened, after the right hand corrected the intended appearance of this individual, corrected it, then we had the Hierophant and the Justice come out. And then this came out with the Seven of Cups sideways. Seven of Cups in the upright could be talking about there being some kind of need for clarity in some kind of way, right? Well, it being sideways kind of makes me feel like, this Hierophant bringing, order, establishment, truth with this justice is kind of clearing the energy. And again, by the right hand, this energy came out corrected. But it wasn't until my right hand interacted with this individual that they came out correct. It wasn't until that happened. Now, I am not saying by any means that the collective, or me being the reader of the energy, right hand is the one responsible for this correction. We have the Hierophant out here with the Justice. I do feel like this is a divine judgment that you are going to witness. Someone who has tried to glamour or charm or appear in a certain kind of way in your life or in others, you are going to witness clarity in the perception about this individual, and you're going to see some kind of truth or justice come to light about this. All right. And for some of you, I kind of feel like this Emperor is like world energy. It's the energy of our world. And like, it's almost like, is that what you're wanting? Because yeah, it is exactly. Okay. So I wanted to make sure with the Lovers reverse with the Devil and the Two of Cups. And I was getting ready to say, this feels like false divine masculine. False divine masculine. So our collective has had many rises and falls. And many of these rises and falls, you could look at some of the variables had to do with some kind of imbalance in the collective's masculine and feminine divinity. Okay. All right. So there is something coming to light about a false divine masculine. Like, it's not a divine. This isn't masculine, like true masculine energy. And I also heard, and that's why I wanted to be like, okay, are you sure? And then I got the confirmation. What I was asking Divine, are you sure you want me to say this? Because this is where I'm thinking. And I know Divine knows what I'm thinking, so I just need a little clarification. Am I on the right track? I said, is this some kind of justice coming to light about false patriarchal rule, like about imbalanced masculine oppression? And like, notice we were talking about the unveiling of this bride, or the unveiling of this Empress energy, who's been crowned this whole time. So I don't know. And like, this also being a response to a collective cry out. Three of Swords. This relationship hurts. This is a toxic, abusive relationship. And many individuals in the collective have cried out for relief from this abusive, toxic relationship. And it's a collective thing. This relationship is with this patriarchal rule, with this false shadow masculine being presented as this is truth, this is authority, this is justice, this is right. Anything that's not this must submit. And that's not right. That never was. I know. Shit. We get into some controversial things on this channel sometimes, and we recently touched back into one, and it was Lilith. And I understand the lore behind it, and I understand the empowerment that a lot of people get from the story and the lore, depending on which one you're looking at, because there's a few different ones. It's interesting that came out right before this reading had came out. That topic had came out. And, I think it brought some things to conversation about, masculine and feminine truly being equal and people being empowered, whether they're masculine or feminine energies. Now, one thing I want to point out is that Eve was not created subservient to Adam at all. Period. Like, it's just, that's not what the scripture means. I mean, at least that's, and people can think what they want, but I'm not going to advocate by any means that the creation story of Adam and Eve in Genesis was talking about creating Eve to be less than or subservient. And I think the main key word in translation that has led to that false belief in Genesis chapter 2 would be about where it talks about one, making it from the rib. But if you look at that, that's making it from the side. That means you are beside each other. Didn't make it from the bottom of Adam's foot. Okay. All right. Just want to point out that symbolism, side by side. But the other one was where it said, now you are blood of my blood, bone of my bones, and you will be my helpmeet. Helpmeet. And people think helpmeet means a little freaking subservient maid that does whatever the hell Adam wants. And that's not what a helpmeet means, because if you continue to look throughout scripture, you will see the Holy Spirit referred to as a helpmeet for man. So Eve, created in the image of our Elohim, was created in the image of our divine mother. And so was Adam, created in the image of our divine father, and they are equal counterparts. There's a false narrative to push the same wound in our collective. And I just want to point that out. The original template creation was perfect. Now, I know there's a lore with the whole Lilith thing, but there isn't much biblical evidence to support it. That's all I'm saying. There isn't much biblical evidence to support anything about Lilith being Adam's first wife, or that. And then another issue that leads to this is a lot of the conjecture that leads to the thinking of Lilith being the first Eve, essentially, and Eve being the subservient maid that was made second, is people misinterpret Genesis 1 and Genesis 2 as being two separate accounts of creation. But if you read it, the grammar, it's not. If you read the actual grammar of when it was written, it's not. It's the same thing. So yes, in Genesis 1, it talks about Adam and Eve being made from the dust. And then from Genesis 2, it talks about Eve being made from the rib of Adam, but that's just breaking down further detail. They were both made from dust. Anyways, I just want to point all that out. Anyways, because it came up. So I do feel like the reason why this came up is because it related to the reading in a way, because this reading was talking about the revelation of imbalances in our collective, imbalances of masculine and feminine energies. They are supposed to be divine, empowered, equal, and whole. Do not tell me the divine mother is any weaker or subservient to the divine father. That is not how that works. So, all right. If we are created in the like image, then I would expect to see that, right? And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the revelation of the perversion of the truth, of how things were perverted. Awesome. All right. What else would you like the collective to know? Four of Wands and Temperance. And I heard, I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Tell the world I'm coming home. And this, the true divine mother, divine father energy. And then that reflection in mankind. You're going to see husbands and wives that are reflections of true divine fathers and divine mothers. That means no more broken homes. That means no more idolatry or adultery or cheating or, this karmic shit or abuse, because that's not divine. And we are ascending to our true template. We're unlocking, we're unfolding. There's a lot of higher encoded, and it's basically geometry. It's sacred geometry, light that is coming from other galaxies, other star beings, straight from the galactic center, from the divine. There's a whole team on it, all of creation is kind of all hands on deck because it's all about God's will in the first place. So there's a lot of love, and there is higher frequencies and higher templates available to us. Before, we were playing around in the shadow because that was what we decided to do to learn and grow. But now we are coming out of the shadow and we are stepping back into light. And these higher templates of archetypical energies of personalities, whether they be masculine or feminine, these are being incorporated into the light matrix or the grid crystal network of our planet system. I don't know how to explain it, but that is allowing us, man, inside the the creation, to be receptive of these higher constructs, these divine concepts. It's like the difference of being at okay, this is basic math to okay, this is God level math. And this is kind of like what our consciousness, our crown, and our DNA is unlocking and opening back up to, because we were created perfect. We are. So, all right. Let's move forward. So with this, I do feel like there is also a healthy balance and integration within the collective. I feel like, since we were talking about Lilith and, how that, it symbolizes to a lot of individuals the, embodiment of empowerment and, not being subservient to man or patriarchy. And, I get that. And then, there's also other sources of information that would tell you she's the mother of demons and blah, blah, blah. The only thing I haven't found is information to say that she's like angelic or anything. So that's why I just kind of take everything with a grain of salt, because there's not much to prove much of anything. It's all kind of lore and myth and old. So anyways, I do feel like the collective has done a lot to embody, and this was through wounds. I want you guys to know this. The traumas you went through were intentional in a lot of ways, and I know that might trigger some people, but I want you to know you're a big heart, you're a big soul, and a lot of you came here intentionally to heal and ascend with the collective. And that meant taking on these wounds and healing them. So we experienced the traumas of abusive fathers, abusive mothers, abusive boyfriends, abusive girlfriends, broken relationships. Then we had this whole thing about, just confusing the line and blurring it. And there was just a bunch of confusion and pain. And we had to learn from that. We had to work through that. We had to heal that. But through that trauma that the collective had to work through, that trauma. But there were enough individuals that did the inner work and healing and integrated the pain, the suffering, observed and learned externally and internally. I mean, there's a lot to gain from experiencing all of that. And that really pushed us further. Because I think a lot of people kind of woke up to exactly what the problem was. And it was a deficit of love. And it also opened people up to what they actually desire in a relationship. Love. Maybe before that wasn't always the objective in a marriage or a relationship in society and humanity. I don't know. All I'm saying is I do feel like there's judgment, there's wrath, there's love, there's protection, and there's peace in this, and there's a return of energies, and there is a blessing over the heart, a blessing over the home, and there's a healing here, and there's a reclaiming of our souls, or a reclaiming of our energy, like where things were kind of fragmented from the smoke and the mirrors and the refractions and the illusions, and all that's getting cleared out the way. And that in of itself is going to cause a change in the world, because that chaos caused a lot of things that were unsettling in the world. So this clarity and this return back to a higher template of what the perfect creation is, and this clear lens of love again, that's going to transform our world. That's going to transform communities, neighborhoods, families, homes, populations. And this is also going to cause a big shift, a big shift. I really do feel that. And I feel like this shift is also leading to more of a, I don't know if domestic based society is necessarily the right word I'm looking for, but it's like, it's a love base. It's a I guess home, family, love, relationship based society, rather than capitalism or money, power. Like, we're going to shift out of that. And I think this return of these higher divine masculine and feminine energies, and the restoration and completion within the body, the blueprint, and like the healing of, these fragmented pieces of selves, that is really going to help us shift to the next portion. And that's, so part of these cry outs is crying out about the world, right? The ways of the world, the things that are out to poison us, to hurt us, to trap us, to keep us enslaved, or keep us confused or wounded or divided or attacking each other instead of, it just, all of that is going to get cleared up. It all started in the heart first. So if you wanted to see change in our politics, if you want to see change in our economy, if you want to see change in our world affairs, our government, we had to first have change in our hearts. Otherwise, nothing was going to change, or it wasn't going to change for long. It was going to be temporary or superficial. It wasn't built on our solid foundation. So this outpour, this opening up of Earth's heart chakra, it feels like an opening up of a heart chakra for the collective. And it's a healing, it's a purge, it's a release, and it's a return of energy as well. That is going to really, now I know we're stepping into a higher timeline where that's where we're really going to start seeing a mark of other things that people have also been crying out about. That's now you're going to start seeing these changes, because we had the change within the heart of man first and foremost, because that had to be corrected. Because that was the reason why the outer experience was a reflection of what it looks like in the first place, because it was reflecting the heart of man. So now that we have fixed the projection, the projector of the image, we're going to start seeing the image change to a more pleasant scene. And I think this is a very hopeful message about, where we are headed. Okay. Anything else you would like the collective to know? Two of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, and the Fool. And this feels like it is telling me, like, we've been leading up to this. Like I feel like this energy is trying to tell me that society, humanity, people have had an extended period of time to lead up to this tipping point, to lead up to this decision, making this change. And now we have the Fool. Now we're here. We're at the tipping point. We're at the change. Okay. Anything else you would like the collective to know? The Hanged One and the Hermit. Damn. I knew I felt another energy in this Seven of Pentacles, Two of Wands, because it was like that extended period of time to make a decision. That extended period of time leading up to now also kind of felt like a deadline, or in a way like this is a shifting point. We're reaching a shifting point. I don't know if it's like a portal or what's going on, but I think that's what it is. It's a shifting point where timelines are about to split. And I felt that energy of like, if you hadn't made the decision during the time leading up till now, then you've already made your decision. And those that have chose heart are going to heart. So that's why this Hanged One came out with the Hermit reverse. Those that haven't gone within, those that haven't chose this this frequency of love in their hearts yet, that haven't attuned themselves to the new vibration, the new experience, the new lesson, the new journey, they're going to be stuck. They're going to be stuck. Those that have opened up their hearts have freed themselves and will move forward. All right. Ace of Cups. And that's ultimately what this all boils down to. The Sun, Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords, and the Truth. Page of Wands, Magician. Our fire, our energy, our spirit, our passion for ourselves, for each other. And that passion, honestly, I do think that passion or compassion as well, that has increased within the collective for themselves and for others, has happened because of the pain. I think pain has definitely influenced a lot of people to have a little more compassion. In that suffering, they understood suffering. It softened them. It taught our souls something. So here we are. The Sun, Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups. Now it's just light on the truth. Light on the truth, which is love. And if it's not truth and if it's not love, it's stuck. If it's truth and love, it's free. And it's happy to be. It's a divide. It's a divide of energy. And it just kind of feels like this is a split of timelines. We've got this devil energy out here and it's looking head on at all of this. So it's going to see it. And remember how I said it's like the unveiling of your flame is like a flare. It's like it's a signal. It's a signal to others. It's a signal to the heavens, but it's also a signal to the rest of the earth. Because as they can look up, it brings their attention up to the heavens. Because they see your light go up to the heavens. It's already bringing their eyes in an upward direction. It's going to show people they can take the weight off too. What I'm seeing is a planet of prisoners. And they all have this like collar or chains or like locks on them. And it's mechanical. It's a mechanical lock and they're all locked. And they have been forced into this game or this sick, twisted game, right? For the delight of dark people. And behind the scenes, these individuals that were stuck in this awful prison game show planet thing, the operators of the game show were being taken care of by divine forces. And then the divine force is now in the control room and oversees all the monitors, all the victims or the, participants of this awful game show, and hits the release button on the collars, hits the release button on the chains and the shackles on it. But no one notices. One person notices, and it's like a light goes off. Other people realize, oh, we're not bound to this anymore. We can take this off. And it's a cascading wave of liberation. And it's praise. We're coming home. Like that's what this feels like. And the devil's gonna see this shit. Like some kind of energy is gonna witness this happen. It's a messed up thing, but I don't care. It's like a slave owner getting mad because all his slaves just got freed, sitting on his porch watching all slaves run free, happy, celebrating. Slave master real angry. I don't care if slave master angry. Slave master shouldn't be a slave master. That shouldn't even be a word. That is an incorrect abuse. Misuse. Okay? So, liberation, celebration, freedom. There's also a big revelation coming through. There's disclosure coming through. There is disclosure. This was a bit of a global message. This was a mark leading to things that are to come very soon, is what I feel from this. And it had to start in the heart first, and it had to correct the lower had to reflect the higher, because for far too long we were reflecting the lower, and that's just not going to work anymore because we're in the light. All right, I'm going to go ahead and leave this reading here. If you like the way that I read, please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you. I will see you on the next collective message.